Hi, this is Ted Gudorf. Welcome to the Family Estate and Legacy Program podcast. This session is designed for you to listen to it prior to the design of your estate plan. That could come at one of two places. First, it could come at the end of your initial meeting, your goals and responsibility conversation, or it could come after the G&R conversation in a separate meeting. The purpose of this meeting is to follow up on your having already completed steps 1 and 2. In step 1, you completed the client organizer where you identified your family and the assets that you own. And then in step 2, you told us what are your goals, what are your concerns. In step 3, then what we're going to do is lead you through a conversation where we're going to design your estate plan. The design will necessarily be based upon what you own and what your goals and concerns are. What are some of the issues we want to discuss? Well, first of all, we want to make sure that we are going to do a will-based plan or a trust-based plan. More often than not at our firm, it's going to be a trust-based plan, but not always. Secondarily, we have to decide what types of trusts are we going to do. In other words, are we going to do a revocable trust? Are they going to be a separate trust, a joint trust? Are we going to do any type of irrevocable trust? We do several types of irrevocable trust depending upon our client goals. For instance, are we trying to protect assets from the nursing home? Are we trying to protect assets from lawsuits? Are we trying to protect assets from the estate tax? As you can see, based upon the information you've had so far, there is no one-size-fits-all estate plan. Each estate plan has to be designed very specifically for our clients, and it is based upon what you own, what are your goals, what are you trying to accomplish. It is not uncommon for a single person to have a single revocable trust. And in the design of that plan, we're going to ask the individual to identify if they become incapacitated or pass away, who do they want to be their successor trustee? In addition to identifying who the successor trustee is, we want to make sure that we understand who are the beneficiaries. Generally speaking, there can be beneficiaries who receive specific bequests, whether it be a particular item or whether it be a particular dollar amount, or there can be remainder beneficiaries, normally who receive a percentage of your estate. We're going to ask you to identify them by name, by address, and how they're connected with you, and identify the percentage that they're going to get. Now, in all estate plans, it's not just identifying who the current beneficiaries may be. We have to anticipate the possibility that that beneficiary may predecease you. And if they do, we're going to ask you, do you want their share to go to the other beneficiaries? Do you want it to go to their children? Do you want it to go to a charity? And oh, by the way, designating charitable beneficiaries is critical as a part of your overall estate plan. And we want to make sure we have a conversation that if we identify your grandchildren, we want to know at what point can that grandchild have full access to these funds to the point of perhaps being their own trustee. So you see, for a single individual, we may be designing a revocable living trust plan, but if that person also wants to create an irrevocable trust, more often than not, somebody other than the individual creating the plan is going to have to be trustee of that irrevocable trust. Because you see, whether it be trying to protect assets from the nursing home or from a lawsuit or from the estate tax, the irrevocable trust does require another party to serve as trustee. In addition to making a determination of what type of trust we have, it is also important to identify who your helpers are for making medical decisions for you. And we're going to want you to provide us with their names, their addresses, and their phone numbers at the design meeting. Also at the design meeting, if you have not uploaded all of your documents that we identified for you to provide to us, if you haven't uploaded them, then we're going to want you to bring them along with you, and we will go through those documents with you. We'll make sure that you've got a complete package of documents, and then if necessary, we will upload them to our electronic file here at the office, and then we will give those documents back to you. Just know that this design process is probably one of my favorite meetings we do. It is critically important. We're getting down to where the rubber meets the road. Are we going to have a revocable trust? Are we going to have a near revocable trust? If so, what type? By the way, sometimes we'll do limited liability companies. We'll make that decision. If we're going to add a limited liability company, we're going to want you to identify the name of that limited liability company. So be given some thought to who you might want to name. Now, the basics will be covered in this design meeting. Now, if we're going to do some advanced planning, perhaps we're going to do some farm transfer planning or some succession planning for a business. If we're doing more involved advanced planning, it's possible we may need to have more than one design meeting. We typically like these meetings to last no more than an hour and a half. We're not on the clock. Remember, we're charging a flat fee. So we're going to take whatever time is necessary to go over the details of your plan, making sure that we properly have designed the trust, the number of trusts, the types of trusts, and then also the other related legal documents. We're going to go over your medical power of attorney. We're going to determine whether you do or don't want a living will. We're going to identify who's going to serve as executor under your pour-over will. We're going to talk about whether you do or don't want to have charitable bequests, and also whether or not you have any specific bequests you want to give to a certain person. Hope you found this helpful. We look forward to seeing you at our design meeting. I think after that meeting, you'll be aware. You'll have a lot of confidence in the process, and you'll have a lot of clarity in terms of the direction we're going. Certainly look forward to seeing you soon in our office. Thanks so much for listening to this. I hope it was helpful.